How many times do I get asked, how can I learn French by myself? I haven't counted, but I would have more money if I got $1 every time someone asks me that. In this video, I'm going to explain to you how you can learn French by yourself. I have taught French as a second language to kids and adults for almost 8 years now. So trust me, I've seen a lot of different learners and methods. I also taught myself English as an adult, so I have a good idea, to how to do it. My voice is still a little bit off. Sorry about that. I'm hoping that it will get better next week. Quick disclaimer, if you are looking for a guru to teach you how to learn French in an hour, unfortunately, it won't be me. But if you're serious about learning French, keep watching and I will give you all the tools to make it happen on your own. I also want to say that I do not sell courses. I don't have a $500 course to sell you. I write books. I wrote 13 French teaching books so far, and all my books, or almost all my books, have free videos that you can watch. So when I refer to one of my books, just know that you can watch it for free. You can watch the content for free. If you want to know all the lessons that you should learn, lesson by lesson, check out my free self-study guide on my website. It's free to download and you have all the lessons that you should know. Include pronunciation, grammar, conjugation, vocabulary, and expression. So let's start. Let's see 10 steps advice to get your French going. And they won't cost you a penny if you don't have money to spare or if you don't want to. The first question that you should ask yourself before starting to learn anything actually is, what type of learner are you? Learning a language isn't a one-fit-all type of deal. So for the first step of this video, you will have to ask yourself what type of learner you are. Don't think too far. Think of when you were at school. How did you learn the best? Do you have a photographic memory? Or were you the type to only listen to the teacher to know everything? Maybe you had to write everything down in pretty notes to remember them. There's a good chance that what worked in school will still work today. Apply your learning method to your language journey. If I look at myself, I have a photographic memory. So the pretty notes worked for me as I would have to write them, read them, and I will remember them. It was time consuming, but it was also very effective. Let me know in the comment section how you used to learn, as it might help others. The second step today is to start with pronunciation. And I know what you think. Oh God, not pronunciation. But yes, pronunciation. It will be best to start any language with pronunciation, but especially French. Pronunciation is not to get you speaking on day one. Pronunciation is about rules, it's about sound, and how words are built. Written French and spoken French are like two different languages. Look at this sentence. How do you pronounce it? Well, it's pronounced je mange une pomme. Why? Because in French we speak by sound and we don't read all the letters. Learning the rules will teach you how words are built and pronounced, and it will help you to understand French better as well. How can you understand spoken French if you don't make the connection between written and spoken French? I have a full pronunciation course here on YouTube. The videos are free to watch, but you can buy the book and the audio if you want to have them and if you want to support my work. It's also in the self-study guide that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Now we have listen, listen, listen. If you are following or have followed in the past my pronunciation course, you already know it. If you can't hear a sound, you can't pronounce it. It's a very simple principle that many skip over. You need to listen before being able to speak. For me, in English, I still have a few sounds that I can't pronounce because I can't hear very well. Therefore, I might never be able to get them right, and that's okay. So spend a lot of time on listening to be able to speak. It's very, very important. Which brings me to read and listen. From listen, we are going to see read and listen. This one can be applied anytime in your learning process after learning pronunciation rules. We use this to make the connection between written French and spoken French in your brain. You are going to read and listen at the same time. For example, you can read a physical book and listen to the audiobook at the same time. But this method can be costly. So to do this for free, you can check out my second YouTube channel where I speak in slow French. I post a new video every Sunday. You can download the free PDF of each chit chat that I do, read it and listen to me speaking. Or you can also read the subtitles. That works too. Follow a structured approach. Learning a language can be very overwhelming. You don't know where to start. Well, you know now, pronunciation. But what to do next? I won't be able to give you step by step in this video because it will be too long. But once again, all the lessons that you should know are in the free self-study guide. So you covered on that. So you are going to start with pronunciation, then a mix of grammar and conjugation. And finally, you can incorporate vocabulary and expression whenever you want. A lot of people are confused when I say whenever you want, but grammar and conjugation in French can be a little bit heavy sometimes. So if you feel overwhelmed with grammar, for example, where you can learn some vocabulary, do you want a fun lesson? Learn expression about food or about love. Everything you learn is worth it, so don't feel bad if one day you don't learn the rules, but make sure to follow kind of a list like the list in the self-study guide. So you know what you learn and you don't go pick up pieces here and there from different teaching approach. Okay, now we have study a bit every day. And I will never stress that enough. Consistency is key when it comes to learning French or any language, basically. It's better to learn 10 minutes a day than learning 2 hours every Sunday. I still do this, even though I have been learning and speaking English for 10 years. Back in the days when I didn't have the time to learn actively, I used to at least study 10 words of vocabulary. So I didn't feel that I wasted a day of learning, basically. Another one of my favorite advice we have, learn what you're going to use. Is your hobby cooking, for example? Or maybe don't learn about knitting then. It seems obvious, but you will be surprised how many people learn what they're never going to use. Me, on the other hand, I like to knit, so I did learn the vocabulary about it. But basically, learn what you use in your own language. Why would you learn something that you're never going to use? Makes no sense. Do you remember we saw listen. Now we have speak. And wait for me to explain. I know that many of you don't have the money to get a conversation teacher, so here are a few ways to practice speaking without spending money. The first one, and the one that you should start with, is the imitation method. It has been a big subject on social media recently for some reason, but it's something that people have been using for years, and you use it too at one point in your life. When you were little and you learned to speak, you used the exact same method. Basically, you repeated a word, then you repeated a group of words, and finally, you made a full sentence. It's very basic. It's really how you learn to speak as a kid. I have 6 videos with this method that you can watch here on YouTube. I post a new one every single month. I think the new one is coming in 2 weeks, I think. I also have a 30-day workshop if you want to practice more. It's very efficient, trust me. The second way to practice speaking is to talk to others if you have the finances to travel or to hire a tutor. You don't? Just speak to yourself. Yes, you heard me right. Have a conversation out loud with yourself. What you're looking to do is to be comfortable speaking. It's not to change the word in a conversation with someone else. It's nothing to do with that. You are looking to have the word flowing instead of blocking. So talking with someone or not, it doesn't really change anything as long as you make the effort to do it yourself. The number of times I said something, it was perfectly fine in my head, but when it came out totally wrong, and that's because of that. Basically, you need to make the connection between your mouth and your brain, and one of the ways to do it is to have a conversation with yourself out loud. Easy peasy. You might look crazy, but it works. And I should say that too, that even if you have the finances to hire a tutor, speaking every day is better than once a week, just when I said that, you need to study a little bit every day. So even if you have the finances, speak to yourself or watch one of my French speaking practice video here on YouTube. It would be better to practice that every day as well. Such an important point. Move on if you don't understand. How many times do I see people just getting stuck in a subject and just feeling discouraged about it? There will be something that you won't understand in French. Maybe it will be conjugation, maybe it will be pronunciation, grammar. There will be something. Don't stay stuck there, just move on. Sometimes your brain needs time to understand something. One day you will get it, but today might not be the day, and it's okay. And a quick reminder that it's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes don't mean that you're doing something wrong. Mistake means that you're learning. That's all about that. It's part of the process. Don't overthink it. Don't check out all the mistakes you do. It will only make you more self-conscious about your French. Just part of the process. All my free playlist, the link to my website for my books, and the link to my 30-day speaking workshop are in the description box. I also have a lot of free resources and blog posts on my website that you can check out. Feel free to leave me a comment. If you have a question, I answer them every day. And please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. That's it for today. I will see you next Wednesday for a new French lesson. À mercredi prochain.